Tressie McMillan Cottom, Lower Ed, The Troubling Rise of For-Profit Colleges in the New Economy. The realm of higher education has experienced an intriguing shift with the growth of for-profit colleges. These institutions, such as the well-known University of Phoenix and smaller mom-and-pop operations, focus on preparing students for specific jobs while providing them with essential credentials. Despite their allure, these colleges have faced scrutiny and criticism. Many view them as perpetuating systemic inequalities and offering little social contribution. In the book Lower Ed, The Troubling Rise of For-Profit Colleges in the New Economy, Tressie McMillan Cottom takes a deep dive into the dynamics, expansions, and implications of for-profit colleges and how they fit into the larger scope of higher education.
Understanding for-profit colleges. For-profit colleges offer certificate and degree programs for specific job goals and rely heavily on federal student aid. These institutions are organized to commodify social inequalities and lack the social contributions of traditional higher education. Author Tressie McMillan Cottom, a former enrollment officer at a for-profit college, calls this phenomenon lower ed. The growth of for-profit colleges in the 1990s brought corporate public ownership, but they remain under private ownership, mostly in the form of family businesses. While for-profit colleges offer workforce training and opportunity, they do not provide social insurance or justice, and are a product of persistent public policy choices that perpetuate wealth inequalities. The business behind for-profit colleges. Millions of people enroll in for-profit colleges to develop new skills and transition into new careers. For-profit colleges use well-crafted ads and attractive pitches to lure prospective students. Students often make the hasty decision to enroll without considering alternative options or having access to relevant data. For-profit colleges perpetuate economic and social inequalities, and their business models thrive on this divide. For-profit colleges and the complexities of enrollment. The demographics of the for-profit college sector show that students are older, poorer, and more likely to be non-white and female compared to traditional colleges. However, this sector is not a single entity, as different types of for-profit schools cater to students with varying social and economic backgrounds. For-profit colleges' straightforward enrollment processes appeal to students with lower social status and those living in education deserts. In contrast, higher status students find the flexibility and proximity to be the defining factors for enrollment. Despite their appeal, for-profit colleges face issues of prestige and credit transferability, among others. Ultimately, this book section highlights the complexities in for-profit colleges' enrollment practices and how they intersect with students' motivations, expectations, and social connections. The for-profit education sales game. For-profit schools prioritize profits over student success, with enrollment officers solely focused on making sales, not advising students. The system incentivizes enrolling new students at all costs, often pushing them towards high-interest loans without fully disclosing the relationship between lenders and the school's parent company. With the decrease of private student loans in 2008, schools relied on these deceptive tactics to make up for lost revenue. As a result, students are left with mountains of debt and no viable path to success. ITT Technical Institute's financial practices exposed. ITT Technical Institute, a popular educational chain in the U.S., was investigated by the government for deceiving investors about their financial practices. The school guaranteed the debt of a private student loan lender named Peaks without revealing their financial ties. When students couldn't afford tuition, they were referred to Peaks, allowing them to use federal aid for the remainder of their school costs while still adhering to federal regulations. Over 97% of for-profit college certificate candidates pay tuition using federal student aid. The growth of for-profit colleges in the U.S. The U.S. social contract underwent 4 characteristic changes that led to the growth of for-profit colleges: job mobility, labor flexibility, declining internal labor markets, and risk shift. For-profit colleges expanded higher education, with almost 30% of students attending from 2000 to 2010. However, most students who enroll don't graduate, and there is a lack of reliable data on their educational or career paths. Despite this, upmarket degrees, higher-level degrees layered on lower ones, are growing faster than any other sector of credentialing. For-profit college success highlights large systemic failures. The evolving job market. The job market is changing rapidly, and workers must continually refine their skills or retrain to stay employable. For-profit colleges are increasingly training workers in healthcare, including aides and nurses, but not dentists or medical doctors. While massage therapy is popular, it's not considered a viable way to meet healthcare needs. The definition of healthcare is broadening, now including hospital housekeepers as well as family physicians. This shift in the job market necessitates ongoing education and training to remain competitive. The true cost of for-profit education. The difference between price and cost is critical when it comes to paying tuition at a for-profit school. Defaulting on student loans is more likely for those who struggle with other debts and lack a degree, regardless of the loan amount. One example is London, who defaulted on a $2,500 loan, paid it off, and then took on a $24,000 debt for a medical assistant program, where the potential salary is not enough to offset the high cost. Blaming individuals for debt issues does not help us understand the bigger picture. The value of credentials. In their analysis, sociologists have developed the concept of credentialism to examine social and economic changes and the ways in which systems adapt to them. An important question to consider is whether college students choose for-profit institutions not because of their social backgrounds but because of economic factors beyond their control. These students are often time poor, and for-profit schools take advantage of this by offering quick solutions to improve job prospects. The value of credentials from traditional nonprofit universities appears to be mainly in their reputation and prestige, which can help job seekers stand out. This reputation is reinforced by college rankings such as those published in U.S. News & World Report. On the other hand, job data is often used to evaluate the quality of for-profit schools, which also face regulatory challenges. Despite this, little is known about the labor market outcomes of for-profit college students, and data tracking is inadequate. Employers' perception of for-profit degree. Employers tend to prefer traditional colleges over for-profit ones as they perceive the latter as a negative credential that relates to minority, low-income, or low-status individuals. Despite lacking the ability to distinguish different for-profit schools, employers view credentials from brand-name institutions and state schools as more valuable. Moreover, job applicants who list fake colleges receive the same hiring callbacks as those with for-profit degrees. Although half of the surveyed employers view both not-for-profit and for-profit colleges similarly, the perception of for-profit degrees among the majority remains ambiguous.
For-profit colleges have forged their presence in the education landscape by meeting the specific needs of students who generally do not have access to traditional educational paths. While these institutions contribute to a growing demand for credentials, they simultaneously risk commodifying and perpetuating social inequalities. Their profit-driven nature tends to prioritize selling education, leading to questionable practices and financial dealings. Cottom's book serves as an essential resource for understanding the complex implications of for-profit colleges on students' lives as well as the broader higher education system. Ultimately, it encourages readers to critically analyze the developments and future trajectories of these institutions.